This week, Rhea and I learn why the folks from Ferron love their rural life. I'll give you a secret. It has something to do with history and remoteness.
Then, if you're a critter stranded on a desert island, how do you get a drink? Well, Reece Stein's going to answer that question as he takes flight to State Parks and DWR.
Finally, on the 20th anniversary of September 11th, the Stedman family honors those who sacrificed everything on that fateful day. It's all headed your way right now. At Your Leisure is next. You know, it's the layers of the desert that really give it its dimension.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's not really just like three-dimensional, it's fourth or fifth or something like that. It's just unbelievable.
We are totally in a different dimension right now.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Kind of, yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Chad Booth.
And I'm Maria Rossi Booth, and we're east of Fix-It Pass, which is in the San Rafael Swell. And this is just magnificent up here, and we've base camped in Ferron again with our wonderful friends from Big Mountain Lodge and the mayor and some folks, just great folks that live around here, and they're giving us a little local tour.
You know, we have a tendency to want to go out and just like, well, we'll cover that on our own. I got a map, I know how to read it, I know how to drive and everything. But there is something about traveling with a local because it's the things that are out there that you will drive right by and never see, and they go, hey, you need to stop and see this.
Yeah, and you're gonna get an eyeful today. It's amazing.
Look at some of the glyphs and ifs that we've found so far.
You actually don't have to have a side-by-side to get around to a lot of places out here. You can do it in a four-wheel drive pickup or even an SUV. Not crowded, it's not Moab, so you're not fighting people all the time. There's dry camping opportunities everywhere. It's easy to find a spot, it's easy to get off and on the freeway. Just Google map it and it'll show you how to get here. There is a lot of history, there's a lot of Indian writings if you know where to look, and once again you can Google that stuff and it'll give you directions to a lot of those places. There is a lot to see. You could come out here for a week and not see everything. And it's laid back. It's a great place to come hang out with your family. You can come camp on the swell, and Ferron's close enough. You can still get into town and get supplies if you need supplies.
Because there's a lot of fun things to do. I like that there's a lot of sand.
I love the mountains in the fall. Love the desert in the spring. I think anybody who wants to have a nice peaceful experience in the mountains could come and go to the mountains. I think if you're looking for a little bit of sand in your face, the desert's a great place to go. If you want to relax, you can always golf if you love golfing. We just love people to come and experience what we have here.
You know, one of the most important things when you're out riding in the swell is keep an eye out, go slow, or ride with somebody local because you'll miss a lot of this really cool stuff.
These beautiful Spanish crosses that we came across, they said that this was like, what, 300, maybe 300 years old?
Easily part of the old Spanish Trail. Could even date back to some of the original Spanish expeditions through this territory.
How beautiful. This is really special. So gorgeous.
And you know, if you'll pay attention, within a few hundred feet of here, there's some Indian petroglyphs, and within 2 or 3 miles, you'll find cowboy signatures. So you can cross like 300 or 400 years of history on the walls of this canyon in a short period of time.
Just a few hours.
That's right.
All right. Well, don't go away because we're going to be heading off to our where to.
10 guzzlers, or water tanks, have been strategically placed around the island to supplement the natural spring sources. In a normal year, rainfall would keep the guzzlers full, but this ain't no normal year. The helicopter scoops up water from a tank on the island's east side, then airmails the water to the remote sites. Bighorn sheep were reintroduced to the island last year, and this year's newborn crop brings the population to 32 sheep. They like to hang out in the remotest, hardest to get to places, so the guzzlers must be placed in areas where the animals live and eat. The guzzlers can hold 1,800 gallons, and with little rain to keep them full, in come the helicopters. Antelope Island is a haven for all kinds of wildlife. It supports a nice herd of big mule deer, coyotes, and bison, the island's namesake antelope. John C. Fremont gave the island its name when he and Kit Carson saw the animals here in 1845. Bighorns have become a popular addition to the island, as well as a source for new herds around the state. This elaborate operation will ensure their survival during these parched times. Reece Stein at your leisure with this week's Where To adventure on Antelope Island.
Hi, I'm Matt Westrich.
And I'm Joel Gurman. We're here with this week's safety tip from At Your Leisure.
So Joel, what do you do when you got a vehicle this big being pulled out by a vehicle that big?
Well, Sarge, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and increase our anchor ability so that we can pull this big truck out of this hole.
Friction!
As part of our stuck assessment, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we have enough room for the vehicle to come completely out of the hole. And Brett here is going to go ahead and pull this line out so we can start our hookup. One of our big safety concerns is actually not hooking up to a trailer ball. They are not designed for recovery. Luckily, this big power wagon has some great off-road recovery points on this bumper. So the guys are gonna go ahead and get hooked up to it, and we'll have a nice spot to hook our winch to. The number one component to any recovery is safety. Whenever we're doing a recovery, we like to assign a winch boss. That person's gonna be in charge of keeping everybody safe and away from our recovery. I recommend looking into something like a hitch link. You can find these just about in any four-wheel drive shop. This is actually a great place to recover from. They're rated for about 9,500 pounds. The safest place to be while doing any kind of winching operation is actually inside your vehicle, with your foot on the brake, park brake set, and the vehicle in neutral so you don't damage your transmission. When the winch boss gives the okay, we're gonna go ahead and start winching. Unfortunately, we don't weigh enough to go ahead and winch this full-size truck out. So to increase our anchor ability, we have a couple different options depending on our scenario. We can use some traction boards to go underneath the front of our tires, help give us a little more grip. If that doesn't work, we can grab some logs or rocks from our surrounding area and go ahead and chalk our tires. If that doesn't work, we can use a snatch block and increase our anchor ability using a second vehicle. All right, so to increase our anchor ability, we're going to use a pulley block to increase our mechanical advantage. Now, the way we have this set up right now in a single pull, the Jeep is actually pulling 7,000 pounds. We're gonna split that load in half by having the line come over and attach to this Jeep. With the weight of 2 Jeeps will give us enough weight to pull out 1 power wagon. After every successful recovery, make sure to secure every vehicle in park and with the park brake set. And while you're breaking down your recovery gear, go ahead and inspect for any abnormal wear from a hard recovery. After you've gotten that all put away, you also want to check over the vehicles you've just recovered. Make sure you don't have any cut brake lines or flat tires. And that was another perfect example of increasing your anchorability while performing a safe recovery.
I want to thank Joel from Legacy Off-Road Recovery Training. I'm the Big Sarge with the Utah Four-Wheel Drive Association, and this is brought to you by a grant from the Utah OHV program.
You know, Rhea, that would take a really big foot to fill that slipper.
That's why they call it Slipper's Arch.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are on the Coal Wash Trail, and this obviously is Slipper Arch.
It is. It's beautiful. We're out here in the swell, and there's another Slipper's Arch out in San Juan County that kind of looks like that. It could be its mate.
Well, go figure. How could there be another one?
Well, because, you know, they come in pairs.
Good point. Good point.
We didn't rehearse that either.
You shouldn't have said that. Now they're on to you, Rhea. Anyway, you know, landmarks are a part of the trips that you take. And, you know, between where we are and where we'll see our next arch today, there's a lot for you to discover.
I was born and raised in Ferron. I'm currently the mayor of Ferron. And Ferron is a very friendly place, a very homey place, a place where people just look out for each other and take care of each other and welcome strangers in. We've kept it a secret for a very long time, and we kind of want to get a little bit of that secret out and invite people to come and just enjoy what we have. Small community, nice little town. Everybody knows everybody. I mean, there's a lot to do around the town of Ferron, and you can do a lot of it just from the center of town, just get in your side-by-side and go, or you can, of course, drive. I think the thing that makes Ferron unique is we are literally 20 minutes to the desert or 20 minutes to the mountains. It's just really unique to be able to do that.
So we run Side Trax Rentals in Ferron. We're on 35 North State Street, right off the highway. We rent e-bikes. We also sell e-bikes, and we rent 2-seat and 4-seat Polaris Razor side-by-sides. We also have the Freckled Cow on the other side, and it's a yogurt shop, sandwich shop. They do yogurt and sandwiches. They have great food, sandwiches, soup. I do not know how they got the name Freckled Cow, but you'll get great sandwiches, great yogurt, great service. It's a great place to eat in Ferron.
We started this conversation a couple of minutes ago talking about arches. We are ending it talking about arches.
Yeah, this is another fabulous arch called Eagle's Arch. And honestly, it's as gorgeous as it looks from like where you're sitting. If you're standing here, which you can, it's spectacular.
So in 2 minutes, we've covered the long and the short of it on arches in the San Rafael Swell.
This is just beautiful. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's breathtaking.
I wonder if they're eagles that live on top, or whether they fly through it, or whether somebody thinks that looks like an eagle.
It just reminded me of an eagle's eye when I looked at it. You know how they have those really cool eyes? That's what I thought of. You thought maybe an eagle to go through it?
I see the talons, but that's a story for another day. I'll explain it later. Anyway, right now, we're going to move on to our Along the Way.
Here on At Your Leisure, we spend a lot of time in our side-by-sides, but each year, we get off the trail and onto the open road. Stedman's Red Whiten Road is a motorcycle ride that was started to honor those who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. The limited attendance ride takes participants through some of the most beautiful parts of southern Utah.
Well, there's like little cities, little towns, there's farmland, there's the rocky hills, and then there's the forest coming into Torrey. That was cool.
the riders are so friendly, and the country that we're riding through is so spectacular. Riding through Highway 12 and Boulder and coming through Escalante, and it's just a great, wonderful ride and a great bunch of good people to ride with.
Finding a lot of the riders are here, ride because they just love to ride, not for any other reason. And I never get tired of it. I mean, going through those canyons, half of the time I would turn around and go do it again, same day, because I enjoy it so much.
This is very small, very personable, and just a lot of fun. Real casual. Highway 12 is just ranked in the top few highways in the country.
Less than 40 roads in the country have the special designation of being an all-American road. Highway 12 is one of them. To receive this honor, a scenic byway must meet 2 out of 6 intrinsic qualities. Highway 12 meets all 6. It has recreational, archaeological, natural, historical, scenic, and cultural significance. Riding a motorcycle is a very unique way to experience this national treasure.
You're out in the breeze. I can smell the rain and the desert sage and even the skunk that you drive by once in a while. That adds to the sensation of the whole experience. You know, you're just out wandering in the scenery. It's a good time.
This is the 11th annual Red, White, and Road, and this year is especially significant. The ride falls on September 11th, and as we navigate one of the most breathtaking parts of the United States, we reflect on the events of that day. We pay tribute to those who lost their lives 20 years ago and contemplate what their sacrifice means to each of us.
We were reminiscing about how it seemed like it was much longer than 20 years ago and yet much shorter than 20 years ago. And, you know, obviously we had people who didn't choose to die. They didn't necessarily say, I want to defend my country, and yet they did die for our country in a way. And all those people who did that did it so we can go out and enjoy things like this today. You know, so that's part of what goes through your mind. And, you know, my father was a Vietnam vet. He died a few years ago, but you kind of think of all of those people and your gratitude for them, that we can enjoy the freedoms and the ability to do things like this.
We should remember 9/11, but we should also remember 9/12, when the country all came together. And for that day and days after, we were one country. It's been my experience that particularly this ride, we do homogenize from truck drivers, bikers, attorneys, all different occupations and walks of life, and we're kind of one group. And events like this, I think, really do help us to remember that we can do that in small groups and hopefully as a larger as a country again.
May we always remember September 11th and September 12th. With this week's Along the Way, I'm Stephen Heumann.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure, everybody. We are chilling over here at the Icebox.
Boy, and you will be when we walk around the corner into the cave, Miss Ree, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, tell me about this place. I've never seen it. It's so cool.
Well, legend has it, years ago.
Not like that.
Not that much of a legend? Okay. So the Icebox is a cave here, a rock formation here in the swell, that is reported to have kept ice cold or not melted all summer long, and the cowboys would keep some of their meats and perishables in here when they were out working horses and cattle on the swell. So it's a good GPS waypoint to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So you can hit it right in the middle of the day when it gets really hot.
And the scenery's not too shabby either.
And the scenery's not. This is a really pretty end of the swell right here.
It's a great place to camp.
It is.
Yeah.
In fact, camping is something that we can help people out with our weekly contest winners and our calendar of events.
First up, be sure to mark your calendars, because on November 5th and 6th is the 3rd annual Jurassic Tickaboo Rally. Jamboree includes guided rides and an OHV costume contest, so be sure to come and join AYL in the fun. Now let's look at next week's show.
Next week, Scott Huntsman and I get to play with the big toys as we get behind-the-scenes look at the fun and trouble we can get into at Wheeler Machinery.
Then we're going back on the trails, and this time the AYL crew is showing off one of the most stunning overlooks in Flaming Gorge as they show off the Dowd Mountain Trail.
Finally, what does it take to be such an outdoor legend that you have an entire trail system named after you? Join us next week as we meet the rocket scientist that was able to pull this off in the Utah desert. Now let's take a look at our contest winner.
This week's contest winner was submitted to us on Facebook by Ron Buckles, and it looks like he's going to win a $400 gift certificate to Rifab.
You know, Rifab offers the best custom metal fabrication for your rig. Visit rifab.com for more information.
Congratulations, Ron, and be sure to call us at 801-947-8888 to claim your prize.
Well, it has been a marvelous day today. You can tell by the golden hue of the sun that it's getting late. We've still got some time to spend together. Unfortunately, it's the end of our time with you. So you'll just have to come down to Ferron and try this out.
What a great group of folks we had with us today. We had the wonderful mayor and her precious little grandbaby and her husband and the neighbors and Side Trax. These guys are amazing. If you need a machine, they're right across the street from Big Mountain.
That's right. So
You can rent it.
Our thanks goes to Side Trax who provided machines today. They got a yummy yogurt place, and our thanks to Big Mountain Inn because they provided some lodging, and that means they can provide you lodging if you come down. There's a place to stay, there are places to eat, there's sweets to treat on, a hamburger stand, 2 places to rent, and a whole week of adventure.
And they're literally just like within, like 50 feet of each other.
That's right. So remember, there is adventure around every bend.
You just got to get out there and create your own adventure.
At your leisure.
In Ferron.